And welcome back to Total Sports with Ali and Sam. We are here with match week 3 predictions of the Premier League. But before we go into those, we are going to have a look at last week's winner. And guess what, Ali? Last week's winner was me with 2 predictions correct. How do you feel about the loss, Ali?
I mean, considering I was close on four of them, I think I was like one goal away. I'm annoyed, but it's time to bounce back this week.
In the iconic words of Roy Walker and catchphrase, it's close, Ali, but it's not right. Victory is mine this week, but let's see if we can do better this week. Just before we catch into that, though, if you are liking our content, please like and subscribe to our channel. Only takes a quick second and it costs you absolutely nothing. Going into our first fixture, Ali, we have got the 12:30 kickoff, and that is Arsenal versus Brighton and Hove Albion. What are your thoughts?
Arsenal and Brighton are both 2 from 2. I mean, speaks volumes. I mean, Brighton with a somewhat lucky win against United last weekend. I don't know. I don't know if many people watched the game.
Oh, I think
It's one
many
of
people
those.
watched the
Yeah,
game, Ali, and that silly mistake from Joshua Xerxes. Like,
yeah. It's unfortunate, but when will that ever happen again in 10 years' time? So I mean, they nicked it last minute. So, but
that's low football IQ from him there, though, wasn't it? Because it was already in the back of the net, basically, from Garnacho.
yeah, it was
Um,
literally over the line, and it's just unfortunate. But yeah, Arsenal looking very good. Finishing last season as they started this season. Do you know what I mean? Like it is just one of those things. And Arsenal, I think at the Emirates will get the job done again.
do you think they're looking
Wouldn't
like early title contenders? Or,
I think they look the team that's going to push City again. I think it is between them two. I don't think Liverpool have have a lot. They have enough, but I don't think you always seen it. Liverpool always sort of die off towards like the end of the season, and yeah, I just don't. I think it will be the same again, and I think it will be Arsenal and City who will win the league.
we'll obviously touch on the new signing there at Liverpool later on when we talk about Manchester United Liverpool. But popping back to our Arsenal game, I'm going to look for me as my prediction. I am going to go 2-0 to Arsenal. What are you thinking, Ali?
Yeah, well, I've gone the same. I've gone 2-0 again. Like, but I think it's the only real prediction that you can give because Arsenal can score goals. We've seen it, but I think Brighton will set up like really good, like defensively. And I think that it'll be a close game. But I think Arsenal, the same as last week against Villa, they didn't really play well last week, and they won 2-0. So
Yeah,
I
that's the
think,
sign of a champions team, that isn't it? Not playing well and still getting the result. Just looking at Brighton and Hove Albion there a little bit. Obviously, they've made a couple of signings, like we discussed last week with Rutter from Leeds. But on this occasion, I just don't think they've got a goal in them against a really strong Arsenal team. And as you rightly said, it's at the Emirates, and I think that will just be one of the deciding factors.
yeah. Well, I think. Well, you say they've got not got a goal in them. I think they do. I think João Pedro and Danny Welbeck, Matoma, but I just don't think the Arsenal defense is just too good to look like they're going to concede a goal at the moment.
Yeah, extremely strong, aren't they?
Yeah, and well, we'll see when we reflect on this what the score is. So the next game is Brentford versus Southampton. Sam, how do you think this game will pan out?
I had a bit of an idea in my head before I heard some transfer talk today that you told me about that Ivor Tony looks like he's on the way out.
Well, yeah, he looks like he's going to Saudi Arabia. It all depends on if he wants to go. Really, it's all down to him. So we'll see by the end of today where he goes.
So the two questions I've got for you there, Ali, is if he goes, do you think Brentford still have the firepower? And if they don't have the firepower, have they got enough time, or have they planned enough to bring another striker in of that caliber?
I I honestly think they haven't got enough time. Like, what is it left in the window? I think it's like 12 hours or something as we're recording this. So I really don't think they have enough time. And Ivan Toney's a big loss. Like he would score them goals this season, and they have Mbuemo and Vissa, but they're not Ivan Toney. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think they've already a little bit prepped for life without Ivan, due to kind of obviously the betting scandal that they had where he couldn't play anyway? So they kind
Well,
of got used to it at that point, didn't they?
well, yeah, that's exactly right. But I think Ivan Toney's is just that good that he will score goals if he's in the team,
Yeah.
and they would score more if he was in the team.
And he
That's
proved
just a
that with
fact.
that cool and collective penalty, didn't he, in the Euros?
Yeah, I mean that pen was good, but we'll
Just
just
having
see
a.
how
Oh,
we'll just
sorry,
see
Ali.
how Mbeumo is. Sorry, yeah. I think Embuemo is good. This is good. As good as Ivan Toney, no, but they are good enough to score goals. We've seen it over the last two games.
But if we're talking about goal scorers, let's look at goal stoppers, because Southampton have brought in a high profile signing, haven't they, between the sticks?
Well, yeah, they've just signed Aaron Ramsdale, and I don't know. I don't really know if he'll be fit for if he'll be like match ready for Brentford this weekend. But it'll be an interesting one if he is. I
Do you
think
think
it
that
will.
that could be potentially the signing of the season, that one?
Signing a season's a bit far because I do think they're going down regardless. I don't think they have enough.
Mm.
But yeah, it's one of those. It will definitely help them, but whether it will stop them from going down, I don't think so.
Yeah, obviously, I saw a lot of Southampton last season, unfortunately, especially in the playoff final, which wasn't pleasant. Um, but you're right. I don't think they've got enough to stay up. So, on that thought, let's have a look at our predictions. So, where are you going on this one, Ali?
Yeah, well, I'm going. It's going to be a close game either way. But I just think Brentford being the home team, Brentford having that bit more edge on their attack. I think they do have that edge to score a goal. And
Mhm.
whereas Southampton with Adam Armstrong and Brent Diaz, they can score, but on this occasion, I don't think they will. And I'm going 1-0 to Brentford. What do you think?
Interesting, interesting. I'm going to be controversial on this one. I'm going to sit on the fence somewhat, and I'm going to go 1-1.
I mean, I see
My
it.
prediction was different, whilst Ivan Toney was there, but now he's gone, or he's potentially gone. I think that's definitely changed my mindset there, to go for the draw.
Yeah, well, I think either or. I think it's going to be a close game. We've both seen that in our predictions. So when we reflect on it next week, we'll find out who won.
And the next game that we're looking at is Everton Bournemouth. Ali, interesting one here.
Yeah, I mean, Everton haven't really looked the best this season. The same story as last season. Will they go down?
I think it's one of those cases that one of the big giants of the Football League or the Premier League, will be finding themselves having a spell in the Championship. I think it done some clubs well, like look at Newcastle, West Ham, Leeds. Didn't do us quite so well. But I think it's what Everton might need to give them that kickstart, because obviously they've got that new stadium coming soon, haven't they? And as you rightly said, they've played some dross football in the last couple of seasons, signed some terrible players. And it just doesn't look it just looks bleak for Everton, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, you talk about signing players. Apart from that centre back, who are they brought in? Like they sold Anana for 50 million. Where's that
Mm-hmm.
50? Has it gone to the new? Has it gone invested in the club in the stadium? Or because it should really be invested in players, no?
Do you think that could be damage limitation in regards to money and not spending? Because obviously, if they do go down, the financial fair plays there, and the kind of money that you get as the parachute payment, do you think they're kind of battening down the hatches, ready for that?
Well, no, because no one they don't really want to go down, do they? I mean, the money between going staying up and going down is insane.
Mm.
And imagine playing your first season in your new stadium in the championship. They don't want that.
Yeah, it's not going to be good, is it, for them? Moving on to Bournemouth, though, where do we think they're at?
Yeah, well, I think they got a good 1-1 draw at Forest, but I don't. Bournemouth are an interesting one. They've signed that Evan Nilsson from Porto. I
Yep.
think he'll be fit. I think he'll be fit to start this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think Bournemouth are better than Everton. So my prediction is 1-0 to Bournemouth. I've got another 1-0.
Oh, you've gone nice and swift there for your prediction.
Yeah, no
It's
messing around.
it's a great shot. Who do you think is going to get that one goal?
I think Evan Nilsson. I think he'll come on and bag it. I think it'll be a very close game. I think it'll be 0-0 for a long part of that game. But I just think Bournemouth had that extra quality where they can just go and score a goal, whereas Everton, I don't really see where that goal comes from.
Yeah, I agree with you in that sense. But I'm going to be controversial again. I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. I think this might be the ball draw of the weekend, if I'm honest with you.
So the next game is newly promoted Ipswich versus Fulham. Sam, what are your thoughts?
Well, Ipswich certainly had a bit of a strange game last week, didn't they? Going 1-0 up within, the first 2 minutes?
Well, yeah, you predicted 7 or 8-1, didn't you?
Oh, I think I did, yeah. A little bit embarrassed there, a little bit of egg on my face. I certainly don't think it'll be the same this week. Obviously, their first home game of the season, isn't it, with Ipswich? Is it?
No, it's because they had first game of the season against Liverpool.
Oh, goodness me, yeah. I forgot about that one. I tried to put that one out of my mind. But I think Ipswich are going to go back down again. It's just a case of can they do something against the lesser teams? For me, I see Fulham as one of the bottom half table type teams. I don't think they're going to be looking for Europe or anything like that. I don't think they're quite good enough, if truthfully honest. But Ipswich have got some good talent there, undoubtedly. But I don't think it's enough talent to stay up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, they have signed some quality players. They've signed Calvin Phillips on loan. They signed Sismodic from Blackburn.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot them. But yeah, and you saw against Man City, he is there to score goals.
Well, yeah, he did it in the Championship. He's proven he can do it in the Premiership as well.
Yeah, well, I don't think his goals are enough to keep him up essentially. But I do think they will score in this game, and you've seen how they are at home. They're they are defensively good. You saw it in the first half against Liverpool.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, what's your prediction?
But I'm going with my first draw of the weekend. I'm going for a 1-0.
Oh, nice, nice. You've followed my pathway there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think Fulham are good, but
hmm.
will they do enough to break Ipswich down? Because we saw it against Liverpool. Ipswich will set up every game in a defensive manner,
Yeah,
and I think they do have enough. They probably do have enough going forward to nick a goal.
yeah, yeah. I think both teams are going to score in this one, but I'm going to go with the home team win. I'm going to go Ipswich 2-1.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Who do you think will be the standout player then?
Um, I'd like to think Kelvin Phillips, but I can see Leif Davis, the ex-Leeds player, scoring from a set piece. Really good at headers when he was at Leeds, and I just see 2-1. It's got 2-1 written all over it.
So yeah, it's a bit of a Midlands derby. This next one, it's Leicester versus Villa.
Yeah, that didn't cross my mind, Ali, to be honest, until you said that. You're right, it is the Midlands derby, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's not the biggest derby for Villa, but I'm sure Leicester will be wanting to welcome Villa to the King Power with 3 points.
Can you imagine if that particular gentleman scores a goal in this game? Do you think he's going to give it some stacks?
Are we talking about Jamie Vardy here?
We are talking about Jamie Vardy, yeah.
Yeah, I think we all know what Jamie Vardy does, and we all know Jamie Vardy can score goals. And I'll let you in a little secret to my prediction. I think he's going to do it again.
Oh, goodness me, Ali, you're going with that plonker again. I'm looking at this saying that Villa played well against Arsenal, or did well for them. I think Unai Emery is a very solid coach, and I just think he'll get the best of Leicester on this occasion. And I think Villa have just got so much more in regards to ability than Leicester have.
Yeah, and I think you're right there. I think Leicester are one of the teams that are probably going to be destined to go down at the end of it, and I just think Villa will be up there again. So I think there's only one way this prediction will go.
Yeah, there's only one winner here, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think it is the way team, and I think it'll be 2-1. What do you think?
I don't feel so confident that Leicester are going to score in this game. After watching Villa Arsenal, I think Villa are very, very strong. So I am going to go a very swift and easy 3-0 Villa.
Wow, and I think the 12th man will be the fans, and I think the fans will push Leicester through this game, and that's why I think they'll score.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from, and as I'm sure we'll comment next week, it'll be that man Jamie Vardy popping up to score that goal again, won't it?
Yeah, 100%.
He's the one player that I'd probably bet on every single week to score a goal, and I'm sure you'd win more than you'd lose.
Yeah, I wouldn't say every week. I'd just say most weeks. He's not one of the strikers that are going to score 20 goals a season. Not anymore, anyway. I think he'll get 15.
I've got
Or
this feeling you're going to have egg on your face with that statement, Ali, but we will see at the end of the season, won't we?
no, 100%. And
So the next game that we've got up is Nottingham Forest versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. So what are your thoughts on this one, Ali?
yeah, well, I think it's another close game. I do. I think there's a lot of close games this week, and I think it'll be very entertaining. But I do think Forest being the home team at the City Ground, I can only see this going one way. We saw Wolves last week against Chelsea, and what was a shock result. Let's be honest. Like we expected Chelsea to win, but we didn't expect by how much.
Yeah, it was one of those lockdown results, really, wasn't it? Do you remember some of those like 7-1s and 9-0ers?
Yeah,
That's what it felt like to me. I thought Wolves were terrible. I think Chelsea found that gear in that game, if I'm truthfully honest, but it's what took them, 8 months to find that gear with all 764 players they've got.
yeah, but I do think the way Enzo is treating his squad is a bit. I don't know where you see it from a manager's point of view, but I don't think it's still going to be the right way to go about it.
It's abysmal, mate. If this was non-league and you weren't paying your players, there'd be a lot of players knocking on his door telling him to go forth and multiply. I think it's the worst example of man management I think I've ever seen. And I thought Pep Guardiola's man management of Kelvin Phillips calling him like fat basically was bad. But on the grand scale of things, compared to this, outrageous. But it's about morals as well of the players. Players are moving there, knowing full well they're not going to get a game and they're going to sit on 200 grand a week. Um, I'd happily do the same as well, I suppose. But going back to Nottingham Forest Wolves, former European champions Forest, when the ground is rocking, it is rocking, mate. It is one of those. And obviously, a big part of their history was Brian Clough, who's got the big statue outside. I just think this is definitely a game with two clubs that have got big history. But I'm going to be big and bold here. I am going to say 2-0 to Forest. And I think Chris Wood's going to bang one of them in. What are your thoughts?
Really, I mean, I've gone similar. I've gone 2 on Wolves. No, 2 on Forest even. 2 on Forest.
Oh, oh,
Not 2 on Wolves. I don't think Wolves can bag two. I think they'll bag one at Forest because I think Forest do have that defensive liability that can concede a goal or two.
yeah,
But I just think Wolves, yeah, they scored two at home to Chelsea, but they're away this time. Will they have enough? I just don't think they will.
questionable, isn't it, in that sense? But as we've rightly predicted there, we'll see what our scores are next week, just to see where we get on that one. Because I've got a feeling this might be that one that kicks the trend. It ends up being an absolute goals galore game. But
Can
we'll
you imagine?
certainly, oh mate, but we'll certainly see that next week.
Our next game is West Ham host Manchester City. Sam, what are your thoughts on this game?
That's the late kickoff there on the Saturday, isn't it, on Sky Sports? Man City showed their dominance last week, did they not? And I've got a feeling it might be another case of that. I'm not saying West Ham are a bad team, and they've made some really good signings, as we discussed last week, with Somerville and Fulkrug going there. And I think they will be key factors when fit. But this is Manchester City. This is the animal that is Manchester City, the coach that's Pep Guardiola. This has got nothing apart from 3 points for City written all over it. What do you think?
Yeah, well, we all know City can win 15 games in a row, and we do know they haven't done too much business in the window, but do they need to? I mean, they are just that good that they don't need to add. And I do only see this going one way, and that is a City win. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. Definitely going to be a City win, but the question is by how many? Do I think West Ham are going to score? I don't. I don't in this game, unfortunately. Do I think Man City are going to get more than 2 or 3 goals? Yes. So I am going to go for 3-0 on this one. What do you say?
Ooh, we are quite close on our predictions, aren't we? Like I've gone 3-1 City because I do think West Ham and the 12th man being the fans will have a massive part to play.
Do you
And
think
we do
Fulkrug
know
will get a good load of minutes in this game?
that. The question is he settled? How settled in is he? Because if he's not really settled in, then he'll get probably 20 to 30.
Hmm.
And but then he might start. So I don't think you can really add too much on that. But I think Jared Bowen is just that good at the moment. He started the season like firing.
Mm. So that finishes our Saturday fixtures. If you have liked our content so far, please like and subscribe to our channel. It's nice and easy to do. And best of all, it is free.
Everyone loves something that's free, Sam, don't they?
Well, of course they do. Of course they do. And it certainly helps us as well, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Any likes, any views, any subscribers, just help us out.
And now we move on to Sunday's games, the first of which is a 1:30 kickoff, Ali, and this is Chelsea versus Palace at the Bridge. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, well, I think Chelsea have found their rhythm finally, and I do think
Finally.
that yeah, and I do think that it's another win at the Bridge,
It's hard to
and
see past anything that's not a win at the Bridge, isn't it? It's the same as Man City beating West Ham. It's really hard to see Palace doing anything against Chelsea. I think you are right, though, mate. It's the 12 man factor again, isn't it? Like the Bridge is quite small compared to most grounds. They're close to the pitch. When things are going good for Chelsea, the fans are behind them. But when they're not going good for Chelsea, they are on their backs close to them as well. What you say that you're seeing a Chelsea win here? What's your prediction on this one?
I've gone 2-0. I don't think Palace will leak that many goals. I do think Chelsea will have most. I do think Chelsea will dominate this game,
Hmm.
but we've seen it before. Will Chelsea take their chances? They'll create a load, yeah, no doubt. But how many will they take? What's your
Yeah,
prediction?
that's the issue there. You're right. They do have 1,001 chances, but they don't tend to take as many as needed. What was your prediction? You going 2-0 Chelsea?
Yeah, I'm going 2-0 Chelsea.
Do you know what? I was going to go 2-0 Chelsea, but in the interest of having a winner next week, I'm going to go
Ooh.
3-0 Chelsea.
Ooh. You think they'll take more chances than I do then?
Um, it's hard not to. Obviously, some of the chances we've discussed off camera last week in regards to that first goal with Chelsea last week. If they get in any type of position like that, you'd expect a player that's on 250 grand a week to score those goals. And it's not as if they ain't got any players to choose from, is it?
Well, yeah, you see this like how well will Cole Palmer play this week? I mean, Cole Palmer is that guy at Chelsea. He is the vocal point, and
Yeah,
everything seems to go through him.
yeah, I totally agree with you, Ali. I wasn't sold by Palmer prior to the Euros. I wasn't particularly sold with him at the Euros, but in a Chelsea shirt, he looks the mustard, doesn't he?
Yeah, last season he was that good,
Mm.
and he did deserve a place on the plane. But he played like last week. You saw it. I think it was 1 goal and 3 assists or something last week.
Yeah, you take
And
that on the chin, wouldn't you? And the fact that it's an England player with the internationals coming up makes it even better for you, I presume, Ali.
oh yeah, 100%. I want to see him firing in a few, in the internationals. But you know what? We've already covered the internationals. Let's get back to the Premier.
Well, yeah, yeah. So we both give our predictions there. So we move on to our next game.
So Sam, the next game is another 1:30 kickoff. It's Newcastle versus Tottenham at St James's Park. This is going to be a close game, isn't it?
Yeah, this one's on Sky Sports as well, and it's definitely one that I'd love to watch, but unfortunately, I'm busy for this one. If it wasn't for the other game that's on that afternoon, this would be the big game of the weekend. Two teams that have shown good form so far, got really good, skillful players, and it's one of those ones where it could end up being a goals galore, or it could end up being a 0-0 draw. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly that. I think Newcastle at home are a different animal to their away form. Like we saw them at Southampton, 10 men, and they still managed to win. But I don't know whether that was them being good because they weren't that great, were they, on the day?
Not particularly, but again, it's that sign of a good team where you're not playing very well and you still get the victory.
Well, yeah, I mean, same as Tottenham though. Tottenham on their day are good, but on another day they're bad. Like they're both mixed teams that can produce either performance.
Yeah, I think it'll be one of those games where both teams will step up because I believe these two teams will be fighting for the Champions League or the Europe spots come the end of the season. So these are the kind of games that both teams need to get at least something from, even if it is just a point. It's those games where you need to get them. Both teams are expected to beat the teams in the bottom half of the table, and this is more about kind of like the top half of the table and where people are going to finish at the end.
No, yeah, and we spoke about the 12-man before St James's Park. When it's rocking, and I think they will. It will be rocking in the Tottenham game because it's a massive game, like you say. Both teams will be in the top eight by the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Newcastle United is one of those teams where it means everything to the Geordies. It's more than just football. It's life, death, food, drink, everything and above. So when they're at home, it is the place to be. So looking at our predictions, Ali, I'm going to let you shoot first on this one. What are you saying?
Yeah. Well, I've gone for a close game. I've gone for both teams to score, and I've gone 1-0. I'm sitting on the fence for my second draw.
Yeah, that is sitting on the fence somewhat, isn't it? Because last week we didn't put in a single draw, I don't think, between us. And we have this week. So with this one, I am going to go for Newcastle to win. And I'm going to go 3-1.
Ooh, really? How come? How come? What made you come to that conclusion?
I just think Newcastle are so strong at home. And I just love the way Newcastle play. They're actually a pleasure to watch Newcastle, especially with the players that they've got. And I think Kieran Trippier retiring from international duty means that he's going to concentrate more on the Newcastle side of things, which will definitely help them out. I just think they've got a little bit more class than Tottenham. I'm not saying Tottenham are a bad side, but I just think Newcastle is just going to edge it there.
I mean, the big question is: is Dom Solanke still injured, or is he back fit? Because Dom Solanke, Richarlison, yeah,
I'm not
which is the
sold on
better
Dom
striker.
Solanke right now. I'm just
You're
not
not.
sold on him. No.
I was impressed with him at Bournemouth, and I think he missed a few good chances, didn't he, last weekend?
Mm-hmm.
So if you take them chances, I think Tottenham will look very good this season. But
Yeah.
I'm going to sit on the fence.
Yeah, granted, I'm with you, but for a massive, massive transfer fee, you have to hit the ground running, do you not?
Well,
And
yeah,
for me, the money that's been spent on him is not quite the same as the goals or the chances that are happening right now with him, which is a problem. But yeah, I think we've both put our predictions there, so we'll see next week if we got it right. And finally, we look at the last game on Super Sunday, and this is a big one for you, Alistair. This one is at Old Trafford. I had to be careful there because usually I call it Old Trashford, but it is Manchester United versus the enemy that is Liverpool. Big long history of rivalry here, Ali, isn't there?
yeah. Well, this is most United fans will say this is the biggest game at Old Trafford. This in every season. It's the one we all look for on the calendar. It's not the Man City versus United. It's the Man United versus Liverpool at Old Trafford. Because we know at Old Trafford, with 75,000 fans behind the team, we can get a result. And I
You
think
can.
I'm going to spoil my prediction now, but I think we will.
Are you
But
going to Manchester United win, Alistair?
possibly,
Oh goodness,
I
I can
do.
I can tell you at least 11 reasons why that's not going to happen. And there's your starting lineup of Liverpool. Um, I think Mo Salah is going to make a certain Man United player look very, very silly. And obviously, Liverpool have just signed a big signing for quite cheap, haven't they, Ali?
Yeah, I think it was Chiesa for like 15 mil all in. I think it was like 13
15
plus
mil.
2.
Wow. But I think his wages are outrageously extortionate, aren't they?
Yeah, probably. I don't know the full detail, but yeah, I think Chiesa will demand a lot.
And I think he signed in time in order to go straight into the matchday squad.
Yeah,
Do you
but
think?
I
Do you
don't,
think he'll
no, I
start?
don't, no, because his best position is on the right wing, and we all know who Liverpool have on the right wing.
The
It's the best
Egyptian
right winger
king
on the
that is
planet.
Mo Salah. Yeah.
Exactly, and I can see him playing the last 10 minutes, but other than that, I don't see him making an appearance really.
Do you think Man United's low end football IQ that they showed last weekend will affect this game?
No, I don't. I think last week was unfortunate,
Mm.
and I do think we played well for majority part of that game. I think we were the better side, and look, I'm never gonna back. I'm never gonna put a prediction against my own team, am I? So it's just like you and Leeds.
Oh,
You've got
oh
this.
no, I'm realistic. You're just unrealistic in this one, but we'll certainly have a look at that next week when I feel this is going to get
Yeah,
me another prediction point. So, talking about predictions, I'm going to let you go first on this one because, as I said to you a minute ago off camera, I have no vested interest in this game whatsoever. I am such a neutral, it's unbelievable. But for you, it is life or death, isn't it? This one. So, what are your predictions, Ali?
yeah. Well, because Mo Salah always seems to score against United. He just always does it. I don't know how. He just always does it, and he's been very good this season.
Yeah.
He's turned it on again, and we're doing what we all expect him to do. And I do think he'll score again. I do think he'll score again this weekend. But I am going to go 2 on United. I'm not gonna bet against my own team.
Oh, 2-1 United at Old Trafford seems a good shout. But for me, I'm going to be controversial and I'm going to go the other way. Just to annoy you,
Yeah,
Ali, to be honest with you, mate.
yeah,
I am
fair
going to
enough.
go 2-1 Liverpool. And I've just got a feeling that Liverpool have a little bit more to about them to win this one. I see what you're saying about the 12th man at Old Trafford and all that business. But just as much as the Man United fans want to win this one, I think Liverpool see this one as the big derby as well. Um, and I think it's just as big as Liverpool Everton. Um, and I think Liverpool need to win this to prove to their fans that the new manager is doing the right things. Um, but yeah, I totally get you from a Manchester United point of view that you see that as a win. But what we'll do, Ali, is we'll catch up next week in regards to these predictions and obviously our predictions for the following Premier League week to see who is this week's winner and to see who gets this week's winner's graphic.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add, I think you talk about a must-win game for United, for Liverpool. It's a must-win for United because if we don't win this game, 3 points out of a possible nine
Not great,
doesn't
is
look
it?
as good as no. And if we win this game, we're on the same points as Liverpool, and people have been saying, "Oh, Liverpool look really good this season." It puts us right in there, doesn't it?
It puts you back into the mix and it puts you back into people's minds and the talking points as well. So, as I said, I totally understand why you're going for your prediction, but I've got to go the other way just to give it a bit of substance there.
Watch it, we won all.
And that ends our predictions for this match week in the Premier League.